Guys, I am bringing to you a quick review of this cool new tool that I have. It's called the Hakko is the brand, Hakko FR-301 desoldering tool. So as the name implies, it is the opposite of soldering, sort of. So normally you would use a soldering iron to work with your circuits to attach things, attach wires or whatever to your circuits. But what this does, it still heats up the solder, of course, with the tip, but in this case it's got a hole, and this gun uses a vacuum pump. So there's a vacuum pump in here, and it sucks things out nicely when you hit the trigger to vacuum. And it's got this cool temperature adjustment knob. So it's actually analog. So these are the set points. So at 1, you can see that there. At 1 it should be 650 degrees, etc. So I know with my different circuits what temperatures I want to heat them up to. So this is the device is called a Panda, and I know what temperatures I need to use when working with that. So I'll set my soldering iron accordingly. Some of the circuits need to go higher, some lower, and I'll use similar temperatures when I'm using this. So I've only had this about a week or two, and I would have gotten it a lot earlier, but it's actually very expensive, and so I don't take purchases like this lightly. I only buy them if I really need them. So in this case, it was almost $300. You can get them on sale for a little bit less, sometimes like in the $250 to $270 range, depending on whether you're using eBay or Amazon or whatever. Anyway, and nowadays they charge tax on everything, even if you get it on the internet. So that's just, how things are nowadays with the new legislation and all that. So what I have here was a nice set of Japanese instructions. Of course, you can get the instructions online too. I watched some videos. I watched a teardown video. I watched Hakko USA's video, and so I know how to use it. But and I've used it quite a bit already. But what I've been doing is sort of like a variation of things. So normally, let's say you have something that you want to get off of the circuit board, and in this case I was using it to and this is very hard to do holding a cell phone and this at the same time, but let's see if I can do it here. Oh yeah, first you'll want to turn it on. So when you turn that on, it needs to get up to temperature. So this is going to be red for a little while, usually about a minute. And while that heats up, some people would be inclined to prepare the solder by maybe putting flux on it and heating it with a soldering iron, maybe even adding some solder to it. These already have a lot of solder on it. These boards came from China, and they just did like a really kind of crappy job. Crappy solder, crappy amount of solder, maybe not enough flux or whatever. But anyway, this just finished heating up, and this isn't necessarily how I've been using it in this particular case, but just wanted to demonstrate real quick. So let's see. So you can see I was able to, if I can get this to focus. It literally took like a second for me to remove one of these pins. So that was pretty awesome. Let's see if I can do another one. So that was 2. So, I mean, there's all sorts of ways to do this. I could have just heated it with regular soldering iron and removed it. But actually, using this kind of technique, I was able to remove, this is called a Panda board, and I was able to remove it from this, which is a OBD2 connector. And I was able to do that. In this case, I removed this for a friend of mine because he needed an extra one of these. So this is a nice clean removal that I did. And but I've been amassing a stockpile of these boards. So not amassing toilet paper, but rather circuit boards, because that's what I find to be useful these days. And that's pretty much it. This is a really cool tool. I'll definitely be using it a lot. And you can see a ton of solder in there already. I'm going to turn this off, and basically you can take it out by pulling back on that. That comes out. You want to always be careful with this thing. I use a silicone mat, so it's not going to fry if this touches it, but it will naturally sit like this, so it's not going to, you can put it on the floor or on a table, and it's not going to burn anything. It does come with a few interesting tools. This is a very minimal stand, which nobody likes. It came with this, which is a wrench. It's actually a wrench that you can use to take the tips off. You can take the tips off hot. So you just put it in here, and then it locks on, and you can twist it, and it'll remove the tip. And it's got a lot of different tips that you can use. And it came with a few extra filters. And this is just part of a reciprocating part that goes, actually goes inside of here. And there's where the filter goes. And this case is pretty nice too. It has these other little tools. These are just for clearing out clogs. And that is pretty much it. I guess I could show you the... not sure where that went. Oh yeah, I know where it went. I have this. So this is the packaging that went around the carrying case. So this actually has some detail on it, which is useful. So this is a list of the tips. So it came with a pretty generic tip, which is useful for most projects, but you might want something that is thinner, smaller, larger, longer, whatever. So I'll probably buy some extra tips for whatever situation arises. And that is it. I really like the tool. I'm definitely not returning it, especially because it came from Japan. So I'm not shipping anything back there. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you didn't know about desoldering tools, now you do. And I'll see you in my next video.